Don't label me no Christian rapper, because I don't walk the narrow. I'm working on it.
You're trying to get
but
there.
I ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying?
You were trying to get there.
I've been trying to get there for 40 years, like Moses. And that's what my message was about. Like Moses. I said, you take Moses and Smo, and the story of Smoses. I'm about to pour it on you right now. They were like, "Oh, come on with it.
Come on. We here for it.
Come on, we here for it. We ain't got nowhere to go. We
No.
in jail, baby." I was like, man, all right. My homie had opened up talking about Jonah. And I said, we're all in the well right now. It even rhymes with it.
Right.
We're here. We're in the
I
well.
didn't think about that.
You know why God put Jonah in the well? So he could sit and think about what he was not doing.
Exactly.
What y'all think y'all are here for? Corrections facility specifically. So you have the time to correct
what you was doing.
What you facilitate.
You put that out there, and now you can
think
about what you just put out.
I was like, y'all, don't be extra dumb. Don't be as dumb as they want you to be.
Yes, exactly. Right there. I'm like, keep it simple.
They in here treating y'all like they told me, and I told them, they told me when I came in, when I said I'm about to speak to K-Pod, they said, ooh. I was like, why you say that? And they're like, ooh, there's some talkers. I said, good. I didn't want it to be a quiet room. I didn't come in here to just be heard. Like, I want to conversate.
I know.
They were like, all right. And then one of the guards he was like, F this, F that. And I was like, I'm in here with the pastor. Respectfully, I ain't cussing at this point because I'm with the preacher. And I'm about to go back. I got my Bible in my hand. I'm about to go back here representing the Lord. So all that, I left that outside. I know when to turn off, you know what I'm saying, and when to turn on, if ever. So I just, I was like, man, the guards in here. Which I didn't think the guards were going to be angels.
No. They they're collecting that paycheck. Nah. A lot of them. That's literally
but it was cool to walk in there on my own freedom.
It makes a difference.
Lock myself in a room with 20 inmates and then speak from my life experiences that was relatable to them and that tied into the Bible. And I think it came full circle. It was very inspiring. It was inspiring enough that I woke up this morning and started on my second lesson.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
We'll see where it goes. Yeah, we're gonna see where it goes.
Me. Man, well, we can get
Do I need headphones? I
can get you the headphones if you want the headphones.
As long as you can hear me.
That's all that matters is me checking to make sure
as long as
we're good and everything
heard.
else. Exactly. But, with that said, welcome to the Grind Time Podcast. I'm here with my brother, friend, good Kinfolk right here out in the sticks, baby. We out here, my boy Smo.
We are at the farm.
Yes, sir. We are out here.
We're on location. What some people would refer to as the ranch.
The ranch.
The ranch. I think is what Wikipedia refers to it as. Yeah, Smo lives on a 32-acre ranch, and I'm like, where they get this at? Where they get this? First of all, it's not even 32 acres anymore. I cut that way down. I don't like paying taxes on county, even county property, man. I ain't dumb, No, I do live on the farm out here. My cousin, I am in the middle of the farm. So my cousin Duck, who owns the cattle and all that stuff, that I get the joy of assisting with. It's always fun to be a vegan with cattle that you have to tend to, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Just full circle.
You care for them differently.
Yep.
They're like dogs at that point.
Just big dogs.
That's one thing about being vegan that has really changed me is how I look at animals. 1,000%.
I can see that.
And you don't really notice it until you stop eating the flesh of something. When you stop eating or flesh in general, which is really strange because psychologically you don't understand because we've been programmed since such a young age.
Oh yeah.
That you don't know what allowing yourself to consume a living thing's flesh does for you psychologically in the long run, over the course of your life. You don't understand what other doors that opens up. And I didn't understand that until I was like well into like maybe after my first year of being vegan, when I started to move into a more whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And my wife had got a book, and I'm gonna not know the name of it, but it's like the something politics of meat. And she's reading it. I don't even like to read books. I'm an audio learner. So she's reading it, and she's just like baffled by the information. And she shares with me some of the stuff that she's reading, and she's like, it says that if you like psychologically, if you're okay with eating the flesh of an animal, then psychologically you're okay with the concept of rape. Whether you know you may think that it's wrong, but you still are okay with the concept of. And I was like, what? I was like, that's no such way possible. But then I realized that what I did see was that when I stopped consuming meat, which I had an addiction to meat, it's the reason why I quit it, and that, and for a lot of health reasons in my own investigatory way, I noticed that a real sensitivity to pornography after I quit eating meat. And not in a sense of like looking at porn, but just like in movies in general. Like, you know, we're so desensitized to nudity. Like it's unreal. And I've been exposed, and it ties to my food addiction, oddly enough. I was exposed to pornography at a young age. I had an older brother, and my dad, oddly enough, handed me a Playboy that had Vanna White in it. And I was just completely overwhelmed with this, like, the availability of what I just got handed. And this didn't come to me till years later in a session with my therapist. Shout out to him for digging this bone out. That my addiction to food came at the same time as my introduction to pornography. And we linked it back to the first piece of pornography that I was given was a Playboy with Vanna White in it. And every night as a family, we would sit down, eat dinner, and watch Wheel of Fortune. And while watching Wheel of Fortune, I would find myself lusting over the woman that I was about to go look at without the dress on, while eating my food. And psychologically, somewhere in that young age of 10 ish, those wires were wired to where, like, I don't want to say gluttonous gorging of food, but like we ate. It wasn't like we were splitting plates. We ate. We had seconds and thirds with dessert. My mama loved to cook. And but I had access to this food, this bountiful amount of food, and with no rules, and no one said, don't go get seconds. That's always encouraged.
Eat
go
more.
get you some seconds.
You want some more?
Make
go
sure
ahead.
you get you some dirt.
You ain't
clean
full.
your plate.
Yep,
no such thing of like, and it's a big old plate, like grandmama's plate. Yeah, this ain't no little plate. So it was clean your plate, go get seconds. I don't feel like putting up leftovers. Go, hey, finish all that. Finish that. Y'all finish that up, so I ain't got to put that up.
Yep.
So that's how we were raised. And while I was consuming this food, I'm like also like the programming of the woman that I then see in the Playboy. And like there's some real glue right there that you don't know about at the time. And if you're lucky enough, you can find out later in life and realize that these things, these simple things that you never think of being as malicious of a, like, or weaponized, you know, in your real life as a Playboy magazine and a plate of food, right? But at the right time and in the right way, if you introduce them together, and then that is wired, that's how you're hardwired at a young age, then you wind up, you know, being desensitized to pornography, which leads to objectification of women, which I'm super guilty of. And music videos early in my career was like, let's get these girls as barely covered as possible and wet and muddy. Like real, like, let's make this look like a Hardee's commercial. That's what we were going for, you know? We trying to sell this beef, you know? And I so super guilty of that. But these were the things that led to that. And then, of course, like, I'm definitely guilty of looking at pornography. And then, of course, when social media took off, and then they realized that, well, we can just put pornography all over social media, and then you got no choice. It's like, I'm only opening up my Instagram to check my business. First thing I got is a naked lady. I was like, whoa, I don't even know who this is. I don't follow this person. Why is it being shown to me? And like, nobody answers those questions.
No, not at all.
That's part of the program. That's part of keeping, that's part of the addiction. That's part of the poison.
Keeping you in that loop.
Yeah, it's going to keep you in the loop, because 9 out of 10 men are not going to say, whoa, a naked woman. They're going to be like, damn, look at that. I'm going to screenshot that and save that for later. You know, like, I mean, it's gross when you talk about it, but it's real. And it's across the board. So I think whenever I quit eating meat, the realization of all this behavior started to magnify. And I was like, whoa, who am I? Because it's not who I really am.
No.
Not in my soul, not in my heart, you know, like,
just habits you develop.
It's this hardwired habit. You were programmed, and you maintained it. No one rewired you. No one deleted the program and downloaded like, I didn't get the update. Yeah, you know, for a long time. We had no Wi-Fi. And
you had to save it.
You were just stuck with how you were hardwired, right? So it wasn't until I was able to access the vast amount of information readily available. It's often spoken to me, so I don't even have to do the work. Like, man, if Chat GPT was a thing back then, I'd be, come on.
Wouldn't need half the stuff you got now.
No. And, you know, that's a whole other topic that we can tap on. But just to touch on my evolution, for those who don't know who I am, that went from that 10-year-old who was addicted to pornography and food for many years, and then started a music career, you know, out of high school, 19, 20 years old, and have continued to have that career for still going right now. And, you know, from being an independent artist from 2000 up until 2012, 2013, signing a major record deal with Warner Nashville, and I was on Warner Nashville up until 2016. And then I left from the majors. But during then, I had my TV show on A&E, toured the nation. I had the pleasure of building an incredible fan base that still rocks with me to this day. They're like, that's why we call them kinfolk. They're family. They ain't going nowhere. And, you know, my journey has led me to some really dark places, you know, being an alcoholic because of my branding with my music. You know, I drank when I was young, but it wasn't like my highlight thing. Like, I just drank because my friends drank, you know, but
social.
I wasn't the guy that like had to have a 6-pack and then grew up to had to have a 12-pack, that grew up to have a case. Like, this just wasn't me. I was too busy. Like, I was eating food. You ain't got room for food and beer.
No,
not in this volume. So, you know, I wasn't a big drinker, but because of my brand, I drank a lot professionally. So imagine that, you know, if you just drank professionally. So on the clock working, you know, I became an alcoholic, and with a lot of access to the wrong kind of foods because of being in the wrong kind of environments, because of doing the wrong kind of stuff and being around the wrong kind of people. You're in a bar late night. There's nowhere to get food. You wind up with deep fried everything.
All the grease, all the
grease,
butter,
cheese, oil, all the bad stuff. That's all they keep in there is just the bad stuff. And I was exposed to all that for a long time. I got up to like 400 pounds right at the back end of the television show, and was out on tour and had a big health scare. I was having real chest pains. Felt like if you was standing on my chest, just like on your toe. And I was just like, what is this? And wound up having to have open heart surgery, a quadruple bypass, which isn't fun, but you can learn a lot from it,
It's always, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you strong.
Yeah,
you can learn from anything.
I learned so much from this experience, and, I never knew. You never know what turning right is going to lead to, but it'll take you the opposite of left.
Yes.
Right. So I don't even know what left would have been. Left would have been 6
Probably
feet,
not here.
so
You're not here right now.
left was a 6 foot deep turn. I decided to go right. Had the open heart surgery, recovered well, got back on stage, continued to do my music, quit drinking. Changed my brand, instantly, overnight. As soon as I had to quit drinking and couldn't go back to it because of my heart surgery, I wasn't cool anymore.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, even from the outside perspective, it's like you thought of like backwoods shine,
moonshine, whiskey, beer, wild women, good times, like all that stuff, bonfires and partying.
It goes all hand in hand.
Yeah, that was the Smo brand. And then now it's like I can't drink, I can't smoke, I can't eat these foods like my barbecue sauce. I can't have pork, I can't have red meat. I can't drink soda. I can't, like, all these things. And so I was like, what? Are you kidding me? But then I learned how to, I, for the first time, implemented self-discipline. I'd never activated my self-discipline button before. And it's like, all of a sudden, I was like, yo, this is a whole lot that I have to do. Not because I want to, but because I'm going to die if I don't. And I don't want to die. I was like, self-discipline, go. And then it was like, I learned how to just say no. To, and this is something that I had never activated before. I never said no.
You didn't have to.
I never did, for no reason whatsoever, on a lot of things. A lot of things I was like, oh, yeah, 2 of those. Yeah, bag of that.
It's one of those things, it's like if you didn't learn it at a young age, it's a lot harder when you get
So
older.
shake,
Because it's like, oh, yeah, what could go wrong? Whatever. Everything else has worked out fine now. Like, so here we are. I'm like, I don't know anything different. I've done all this. It got me this far. It's got me this well known. It's got me really out here and making money, providing and stuff. And it's just like, why would I say no to these things? And then it's like, wait a minute. This is what's killing me.
It's what's tearing me down. That, or you live like you don't believe that you're going to live long. Because I used to live in a way that I was like, I probably ain't going to see 25. Like, let's get it. While we're here, let's go. Because I didn't see
in the future
me looking forward to turning 50 and being in better shape than I was when I was young. Like, I'm better now. I could try to get my young self to get up and run 5 miles.
Oh, I get it. I mean, even me, like me in high school and me now, I'm like, I'm in better conditioning and everything else. I'm like, I'm not going to walk in a park a couple miles just after a workout.
Yeah.
No.
Just cause? Because I choose to? No. But when you get here and you realize, you're like, if you can get past the, man, I should have, man, I wish I could have, like, none of that is relevant. You're here now. It's like, I gotta do this. I have to do that. I'm going to do this. It's not even like well, maybe I'll do, like, no. When I woke up this morning, it wasn't, maybe I'll go get on the treadmill and maybe I'll do a mile or 2. I was like, as soon as I heard that cat meow, like, get up, Dad. I was like, whoop, time to get up. I just go, put my socks and shoes on and go right in there and 5 miles while I watch the news. And I like, try getting the young me to do that. No, sir.
Ain't
So
gonna happen.
you can't argue with the evolution. And what I tell people is like, on the slick, man, I have found the fountain of youth. You know, like that's bottom line. I don't care how you want to dice it. I have found the fountain of youth. Show me something else that gives you this kind of result long term. I'm not talking about a month. I'm not talking about 6 months to a year. I'm 5.5 years on being plant-based and going on 4 years of being gluten-free and oil-free. And every day I've had my blood work done. I've had everything of me checked. And it's like, like my doctor, my blood doctor, my hematologist just had his drug rep reach out to me yesterday. She was like, hey, I want to treat y'all for lunch. Where y'all want to go? He said, can you get Smolicious? Because he just did my blood work. So my doctor is like, can we get,
right. Call him up.
and when she called and she was like, yeah, this is for this doctor. I said, oh yeah, I got him. I know why he wants it. I said, he done seen my blood work, and me and him's the same age. So like, yeah, I already know.
He's a little jealous. He's like, hold on. Let me see what you're talking about.
Because we all, unless you really, like I said, I really feel like I found the fountain of youth because I bump into people that they have achieved a health goal, but they still struggle with some health issues. And most of the time when they explain it to me, I'm like, oh, it's because you still eat oil, bro. It's because you still eating gluten, And when I say gluten, I'm talking about today's highly processed wheat, refined wheat. The reason why it is bad, not only because of the process, but we got to take it back to the glyphosate. That's what makes gluten bad for you and what causes inflammation. I don't want to villainize the actual gluten germ breakdown of like scientifically God created this gluten.
Yeah, that is fine. But now what they're doing to it in those facilities.
Doing to it or what they're spraying on it is what is affecting us. Now we have to pinpoint it as gluten because that is the product that is being affected, that is being input into all of our food. So there is a healthy version of gluten, and I am learning about this now, and I am excited about this now because I miss bread.
I bet.
I miss bread. I ain't gonna lie, and I'm kind of tired sometimes of eating red lentil bread. I mean, it's got its moments, right? But ain't nothing like that white fluffy.
No,
some sourdough. Man, come on now. And it's bad enough that I can't eat oil, so I don't get to enjoy mayonnaise, or even veganase. Because like most of the first year when I went plant-based, it was a lot of like having to quit the standard grocery list and switching to a plant-based version. Now, that didn't mean off the rip I went whole food plant-based. No.
It's not smart. This just not smart.
Your body will freak out, and it's like trying to work out and diet at the same time. Like, you will fail. But if you ease into these things, like, so instead of eating red meat, which I had already stopped eating, but like now I can have an Impossible Burger, let's go. I was eating turkey burgers already. I was like, okay, Impossible Burger. Beyond Meat, okay, which they got bratwurst. Man, come on now, I missed a bratwurst. I ain't had pork in I don't know how long. Let me get one of these. And it was helpful for me to take the attention off of the groceries, the stuff that I had been buying. And like I had to quit eating cheese. I thought I was gonna die. For real.
That's rough.
Death.
Yeah, it's rough.
Death on a dry cracker. No cheese? You know what?
It goes good on everything.
They got vegan cheese. It was a celebration. I said, ring the bells. Bring it in. I want it shredded, creamy, smoked Gouda, American. What? They got Swiss. Get out of here. How they do that? So I was like, let me get all the cheese. So for the first year, and I gained some weight back. I was like, man, how am I vegan? I'm getting fat. Well, come to find out, all these processed vegan foods are terrible for you. Terrible.
Worse. They're sometimes worse.
They're the worst, bro. Mm-hmm. So then we learned, we were like, oh, we done got vegan fat because Oreos are vegan. French fries are vegan. About that. You know, Oreos are vegan and gluten-free now. So it was a go. I was like,
oh, yeah, here we are.
Like, here we go. Finally. But then I was like, okay, wait a minute. This isn't working. We got to refine this even more. Actually, my wife, she was like, she's the one that puts belt on me about it. She's like, you got to get it right. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. She was like, we got to quit eating gluten and we got to quit eating oil because that gluten and oil causes inflammation. Inflammation causes pain. Inflammation in organs causes disease, and then disease causes death. So you just backtrack that to the inflammatory ingestions that you're putting in your body. It's these two things. And I was like, but that's everything. And she was like, except for produce. And I was like, okay, so there's no oil or gluten in any produce. So that was a whole new thing for me. It's going whole food, plant-based, gluten-free, oil-free. Now we're not eating processed foods at all, like nothing out of a box, nothing. It's all, and it made it easy grocery shopping. Because you just walk in the grocery store.
It's right there.
Produce, boom, I'm done. I ain't even got to go no other aisle.
Which was see what they need to see.
Very eye-opening to someone who had spent their entire life going up and down the aisles like a program when you didn't even need anything, but then you would think,
look at this. Oh, that looks pretty. I'm going to grab that. Oh, I ain't seen this before.
Colorful cereal and this cheesy deliciousness. And like now.
Don't want to microwave for 30 seconds.
That's a trap. That's a trap. But if you go in and you just hit the produce section, you can grab everything that they got. Everything. I don't care if you've never tried it. I don't care if you think you don't like it. Pretend that you do. Just get it, right? Because you got to learn to change your ways if you want real change in your life. And so that's what I did. I went into the produce section, and I first went and got everything that I liked. And come home, and I was like, okay, no oil, no gluten. How do we do this? Oven, parchment paper, air fryer, nonstick pan, sauteing with water instead of oil. Like, I just got rid of the oil in the house. I was like, well, I don't have, what do I do? Figure it out. Water. Okay. I didn't even know you could saute vegetables with water. Who didn't tell me this? Why have I been using 6 tablespoons of oil my whole life? And do the math on that. People don't even think about the caloric intake of the saturated fat of the oil or where the oil is even derived from.
Yep. Because it's never exactly what they say it is.
No,
it's always
that's a lie. That's like putting a real happy cow on a carton of milk. Go to a milk farm and you see show me happy cow.
You ain't gonna see a single one there.
Not a happy one.
No,
not promoting the abuse that they're going through. No. That's no. And you know, I look at these things differently now, like especially with animals. To me, dairy cattle and beef cattle and chicken farms and hog farms, all that seems like modern day slavery to me.
It is.
That's all that is.
They don't have a choice.
They don't have a choice. So I'm like, I'm not okay with that across the board. But a lot of people are not okay with it just for humans. So it's speciesism. It's not racism. Now it's speciesism. Now you think because you're a human that you're above all these things. And it's okay for them to be enslaved. It's okay for them to be tortured. It's okay for you to take their children away from them and steal their milk. Because, hey, we like the way cheese tastes. We don't need cheese.
It's become like a greed thing.
It's all greed
and everything else. What way can I make a lot of money off people? And people took advantage of this, and they stay taking advantage of all these different things in the world. Like there's so many things you can look at and see it.
Most
day,
everything.
and everything. People just
except for the truth.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I didn't want to hear that. Ooh, it's too deep right there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what do you mean? Yeah, but it's
They'll
just
sell
the
you a
truth.
lie, but the truth for free.
Oh,
Look
what?
out!
Something's wrong. You're just giving it to me for free. That's the problem.
I'm telling you.
And I get that 1,000% because I mean, back in the day, it would be like, oh yeah, we got a couple cows on our farm because this is where we live at. These where we get our milk from. Now it's just, oh well,
And
if
you
I can
love that animal.
you love it. You took care of it. You named that
That's
animal.
your family. Now
If
that
it's
cow
sick, you
might
feel
get
bad.
old, and if it dies, maybe before it gets lame, you're like, well, Betsy gonna die. She gonna bless this family. We're not gonna let her go to waste. We're gonna go ahead and let her die, and we're gonna take the meat from her and put it in the freezer because they didn't eat meat every day.
No,
You don't need meat every day. This whole mentality of I need to eat meat. I'm a carnivore. I'm like, yo, you might need therapy. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Scientifically, I don't know that it's real. A lot of people say it. I got some homies that are like, they're like, yeah, I'm on a carnivore diet. I'm like, really? Did you catch that with your teeth? Did you eat it with no flame? Did you cook that? You didn't cook that gazelle that you caught with your mouth, did you? Oh, you eating Chick-fil-A. Oh, okay. No, you're not a carnivore, my friend.
No,
You're just making up excuses to eat what you want.
want.
I get it. That's cool. It's not going to work. No, it's not going to work.
No,
But
it's not a long-term thing. It's like, I didn't try all of them. I tell people this all the time. It's like, it's not long-term. It's like, I'll do it to show you how it goes and everything else and stuff
now
like that.
it has its effects. Now, I'm not going to say things don't work for certain reasons and for certain people for certain times. Like, even, like, I've never taken a weight loss drug. I've never had a weight loss surgery. Doesn't mean that I'm against them for people who need to have that. If someone is struggling to even kickstart the weight loss, to even excite them about changing their life to lose weight, I say hit them with the shot, but don't make it their lifestyle.
You can't be completely dependent on it.
No.
That should not be it.
Same thing with surgery. Like, and I like whenever you talk about gastric bypass and a doctor makes you lose a certain amount of weight before they'll even let you do it. And I think that's smart because I wonder in how many cases people are just like, well, I'm just going to keep losing weight.
I done got it this far now.
Yeah, I done figured out what's working. I'd rather have this than, because then, and like I said, for people who have to have it and for people who need it as a kickstart, I get it. But it's not the only way. Discipline is the only way, right? Yes. And you have to figure, it starts with what's at the end of your fork. You have to know what you put in your body that's how you're going to live. That's going to reflect everything. Like I said earlier, it will wire you to be a certain way and you won't even know it, and then you'll become a version of yourself that maybe you didn't have to be, or maybe that God didn't intend for you to be. So, I'm not the one to say that, but because I believe that everything I experienced was for the very purpose of walking a path so I could tell my story and it to be true because it came from lived experiences. So like, this is just, this is my testimony on what I hope to be a half lifetime. I really want to see 120 like Moses. Was he 100? He was 120, wasn't he? Or older? Maybe he was older. Was he? I need to fact check my Bible.
I do too.
I need to check my Bible. It's either in Joshua or in I think it's in Joshua. I know Moses died before he wasn't allowed to get to the promised land, but he died in Moab on a rock where he could see the promised land. You know what I'm saying? So at least he got to see it. I was telling some guys that, the story of Moses, and you always think that Moses' success story was him splitting parting the Red Sea. That's what you think. It's like Moses, like, yeah, he parted the Red Sea. That's his success story. And it's like, no. His success story was freeing his people and leading them to the promised land. And then even then, his legacy wasn't even that. His legacy was leading them to the promised land. His legacy was them actually crossing into the promised land because God split the Jordan River for them to cross there. And when they crossed, God told them to stack stones on the side of the river to memorialize Moses' legacy. That way, when people came across and they saw these stones stacked, they say, hey, what's them stones stacked there for? And it's like, that's the legacy of Moses. He led his people to this river, and they crossed into the promised land. He didn't even get to cross, so he never even got to see his legacy. I was trying to tell these boys, I said, sometimes you're not a part of your legacy. Most of the time, I don't think that you're a part of your own legacy. Like the actions that you do, the choices you make, you know, your success, and then the things that the energy that you put on people builds to your legacy. I'm like, but man, you ain't never gonna see your legacy.
Yeah, I don't know what this business will come.
Yeah, you don't know.
It's like I'm building something for other people in the future. It's like I'm putting all this work in and just giving the spotlight to others.
Yeah, and
it's like,
hoping that it resonates in a positive way, and then that's my legacy. Let the things I've said and the energy that I put towards, you know, my significance on people, whether it's memories or guidance or whatever, let that lead to greatness, and then that be my legacy.
Because you never know whose journey you're starting or something like that. You could be that breaking point they need, that moment, just a little talk here, there, anywhere.
Anything, man. Anything. I try to think about it. That's why it's important to consider your words. Your words are very powerful, especially nowadays when your words are recorded. Because the things you say in a room between two people become in a room of thousands.
Millions.
Yeah, millions. That's the goal. So you better be impeccable with your word when you use it, and know that the things that you speak are going to be heard, and hopefully you speak in a way you want it to resonate with people and to help guide them. I know I felt more of my calling these days after my evolution from, of course, being the rapper, you know, the old rapper, Big Smo, and then now stepping into just the Smo version of my life, where I'm getting to even refine that to a point where I can be even more positive with my music. Because I've been walking a line for a long time. Even after I quit drinking and quit, like the past 10 years, like I still drop songs that are borderline. I mean, they're pretty street driven. I talk a lot of gangster stuff, you know.
They're real.
And it's from real life experiences, but like what I need to focus on is like the life that I live now. I have to stop creating music that reflects on a life that I no longer live. I need to write with understanding the same way that you speak. I need to, you know, be impactful, be, you know, precise with my word, and know that people hear new music from me. It needs to reflect my new lifestyle. I just put a song and a video out last week, and I already looking back on it. It ain't been out a week and a half, and I'm already looking back, and I'm like, boy, you could have said this, and it would have went a lot further, you know. And I'm just like, at that time, when I'm artistic and I'm in that rap vibe, I'll say things, you know, and I need to be more impeccable with my word when I write my lyrics, so it better reflects the life and the person that I am today. So I'm still learning, man.
We all are.
I pray about it.
I mean, that's the one thing. You got to keep learning.
I think that's part of the process, you know, is I love making mistakes because there's a lesson.
It's never a loss.
It's never a loss. The only time that you make a mistake and there's a loss is if you don't pull a lesson from it. Then it just remains a mistake. Then you got to live with a mistake. I don't like living with mistakes. I like to burn the toast and then say, oh, man, I was supposed to pull that out sooner. And then never burn the toast again. I'm like, man, that wasn't a mistake. That was a lesson. I ain't burnt toast since. First time was the last time, you know? So,
like touching a hot stove.
yeah, you're not going to keep doing that. Not on purpose, you know? And then some people, man, in other ways, they keep going back to that hot stove. So, yeah. And everybody's different, man. You got to figure out a way. I was telling a guy last night, I was trying to tell him, like, he's about to get released, you know, from being incarcerated. And I said, look, when you leave out of here, the devil's going to be waiting for you right outside the door. Like, he's not in this room with us right now where we're having church. But as soon as you walk out of this door into the hallway, he's not only him, but 3 of his homies are going to be there to jump in you because they know where you've been. And they're going to try to knock this out of your head. They're going to soccer ball it out of your head. And he was getting out like in the next day or two. And I was like, so what's the move when you get out? You know, and he's already, you know, people got hard times, man. Some people get out of being incarcerated. They only had nowhere to go. No car. And, you know, at the time, they're like, how do you do this? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know. Like, I ain't never been in that position where I didn't have something, you know, because I've been working for a long time. And then before that, I was blessed with having really good parents, you know. So, like, I just ain't in your shoes. And I'm like, there's got to be programs or there's tax-funded something. But, like, it's not going to fall in your lap.
You got to go out and find it.
You got to dig. I mean, I only got to dig 2 feet because I'm not in jail. You got to dig 8 feet, you know. But you dig, you'll find it. But, you know, he was worried about, I was like, what are you going to do when you get out? Are you going to go right or are you going to go left? And he's like, well, here's the thing. Right is going to be like a 2.5-hour walk. He said, but left is a 30-minute walk to my homie's house. And I was like, well, what's waiting on you there? He's like, my first fix back. And I was like, you got to figure out how to not go left, bro. Like, maybe what you should start doing is looking forward to that 2.5-hour walk. Maybe you start thinking about the things that you look forward to seeing along that journey.
Maybe you can find something along that way of that walk, like a new job.
Might be a new job. Might be, you know, you might be taking that walk and somebody needs your help and you show up and that winds up being your new employer. You know, you just don't know because you're scared of the walk. And I'm like, listen, you're being given a gift. I know it don't look like it. Definitely don't feel like it. But you've been given a gift to sit and think, forced to think. Because guess what? You can't go left or right now. So
here.
You here. And I think that it made some sense and resonated with him. And I was like, man, sit in here and take your time. It's a correctional facility for a reason. I don't condone it.
No.
I mean, I support it because we need it, right? But like, I don't. There's a lot of it that I don't care for. You know, but like, it's a facility where you can correct yourself before you come out and facilitate with the rest of us. And I'd like to see some of these guys take advantage of this time that they're given, you know. And I'm not saying everybody's guilty, and not everybody should even be in there, but like some people need to be put on pause. Unfortunately, this is how they found a way to do it. It's not cool, but like being in timeout ain't cool. It's not supposed to be fun.
No, he was supposed to learn. Like, all right, why am I in this position? Let me stop doing that, and I won't end up here again.
And it's to strip you down from the things that coerce you to go left. You know, it's like, we're going to take all that away from you. I remember when my daughter used to get in trouble, we would take the sheets, her comforter and everything off the bed. Think about the word, comforter.
Like comfy.
That's gone. You got a sheet. Deal with it. You know, the door off your room, and you got no privacy. I'm taking all that. Your phone, gone. Communication, gone. Laptop, nope. Nope. I ain't dumb. Need some books.
Well, you can read, you can learn.
Need some books. I got some good ones. Here, we'll start with the Bible. Check that one out. You know, holler at me when you read it twice, you know, with your door gone. Mm-hmm. So, like, you know, sometimes, and, you know, you try to do that as a parent in hopes that your kids don't wind up in a jail cell. Mm-hmm. If you know, punish them like that in a way like this, you're lucky. You still get to breathe your air out here. Imagine if you had 12 other people in that room, tooting and burping. And,
one toilet.
Yeah, one toilet, one shower, all dead skin. Yeah, everybody's dead skin.
You are actually blessed in everything else. Even if it's a terrible situation, it's like you always got to remember somebody might have it worse than you right now. Bro. So why are you complaining about it?
You don't believe that? Walk in Walmart. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you're going to see 5 people that has got it way worse than you. And I ain't pigeonholing. I'm just saying Walmart's a vast sea of people.
See all
walks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you think that you got it bad, just go to Walmart. Like you're going to see like, and I do it all the time. Cause I feel like every day be my worst day. I'm like, come on, man.
We go again.
Come on, man. With this again, these things, like traffic still. We're still with traffic, you know? And then I'm like, man, I should feel more blessed. I am in a Yukon. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, leather seats. I shouldn't even have leather seats. I'm vegan. Not my fault.
That's how the car came.
I didn't order it. It came like that. That's you know, Craigslist put that in my lap. That wasn't my fault, you know. But yeah, you know, I'm just like, I ain't got it bad at all, man. Let me take a step back and reevaluate, and then you find yourself, you're like, oh wait, I'm actually truly blessed, and I should act like it, you know. And I find that to be where I'm at these days, where I'm just like, you know, you can't fake the funk when you're blessed. Why would you? Mm-hmm. Like, let it shine.
Exactly.
If you feel good and you want to talk about feeling good and you want to help other people feel good, that's a bright light. And let that shine, because it's dark out here.
Real dark.
There's not a lot of bright shining lights. So if you feel, you never know, your light could spread and you could catch a fire. You could get a fire going. Next thing you know, we got a bonfire. And now everybody's feeling good. Everybody's warm and enlightened. So, you know, that's my goal right now. In my music, you know, I got a couple songs that they're already out. What I'm doing right now is I'm pulling a lot of my music from my old catalog, and I'm going to re-release probably like a classic album for my 50th birthday next year in February. Okay. But we're gonna do some new visuals. I'm shooting a music video Friday, and we're gonna shoot. I want to see about. I really don't want to go to Planet Fitness and shoot this walkthrough scene. I need to find out if I can go to Matt's and just do a simple walkthrough scene. Yeah, because this song, it's been out for a while. It's This One's For You, but Get Along. It's been out for a while, but I didn't do a real music video for it, and I feel like that it's relevant to like who I am today and what I'm trying to represent, and that's definitely unity in everyone. And I think what I'm gonna have this kind of walking video where I'm like, I start out here in the country, it's like walking and rapping to the camera, and then next scene I'm walking and walk. So it's just like me walking, always like same outfit, but the scene changes. Yeah, you know, and then
that'd be hard.
See people along the way, interact with them, high five, handshakes, daps, hugs. You know, a lot of B-roll from out here in the country, and then Shelbyville. I'm just gonna go from here to Shelbyville. Graveyard shot, you know, walking through the grocery store. I figure I'll just bust up in one of the grocery stores, walk down the aisle, spit a couple lines, next scene.
Out of there.
Yeah, out of there, you know. But yeah, that, and then I've got another one in a couple weeks we're going to shoot called This One's For You. And it's been out for a while too, but it's like, this is more of like if I had like a faith-based song, you know, that was about overcoming hard times, addiction, stuff like that. That's this record. And we're going to do a more elaborate video for it. I think we're going to aim this one because of our love for animals. I think we're going to take this one and aim it towards like animal adoption, animal sanctuary, animal support, just in general. Because we work with a lot of people who work with animals in a way that is preservation to their quality of life. So I feel like highlighting that with this record would be really impactful, at least for that that lane of foundations and businesses and stuff like that. I think animals get overlooked. They don't really have a voice.
No, not at all.
So trying to be a voice of my fellow godly creatures. But yeah, that's me. That's me in a box. That's me in a box.
Oh yeah, most definitely. That'll be nice. I can definitely holler at Matt and stuff like that too. About that. I don't see why he wouldn't.
He knows me.
I
hope he loves me. He's always proud of me.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Matt's bumped into me along my path, my journey, and my evolution. So he's seen me. I remember him seeing me when I was big, and then he bumped into me and I was less. And he was like, dang. And then I think he seen me again and I was even less with some muscle. And he was like, okay, I see you out here like that. I'm like, yeah, buddy, it's the rebirth, man. It's happening. Fountain of Youth. I think I'm gonna do a podcast.
Man, come on.
Yeah, and just call it like Fountain of Youth. Let's talk about it. Like, I think everybody's got like their version. Of course, you in the gym, exercise is everything. You know, like I wouldn't feel as good as I felt if I didn't exercise. So like exercise is, I would say it's like a 70-30. And I think I'll give exercise the 30. Because I think 70% is your diet.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Here's where exercise comes in long term for sustaining this lifestyle. Whenever you dial in your lifestyle first with your diet, you become super disciplined on what you allow to be in your life. It's like dating a girl and then her like sleeping with your best friend. You don't keep her around. So like you have to treat your refrigerator and your cabinets in your house and your shopping cart like that. If these things aren't going to work in your favor, you don't even bring them into the crib. So like they don't even come in. They don't even go in the cart. So in a sense of diet, that creates a discipline with what you allow in your life with your food. And it's extreme discipline. It's hard. Because they don't make it easy.
No,
convenience is a thing in itself. But if you can figure that out, then you add the exercise. Like you should be exercising all the time anyway, some way. Yeah. But I'm talking about after you dial in that dietary lifestyle, then you add in some serious exercise. Now, what the exercise is going to do is create this whole other discipline. Whole other discipline. And it's different. But the difference is if you have your lifestyle, your dietary dialed in first, you have that discipline to work with your exercise discipline that you're about to gain. So while you're training in the gym, when you leave, you don't do cheat meals.
No,
you've already discipline yourself from that. Like you know what to go to. Like, I gotta go get a smoothie, I gotta go get a salad, I need to get like some protein, plant protein, hopefully, or really clean. I'm not gonna promote meat, but you know, go eat some plants. There's plenty of protein in them. You don't need that much. Don't think that you got to live by the equation every day. But you know, like the exercise will keep you on that dietary discipline because you're not going to go and once you get disciplined in the gym to where it becomes your lifestyle, you're not going to jeopardize your performance. Once you realize that the food is just fuel for the performance, and like if you're getting up and you're dedicated to the performance, you're not gonna put bad fuel in.
No, not on chance. You know you need 93, and you're gonna put 89 in it.
Why you gonna make it harder on yourself? You're the only one that's got to do it. So there's this tandem discipline reward that comes with this, and I strongly believe that. You know, I always failed whenever I did diet and exercise at the same time from the jump.
Yes.
I was like, I'm not going to eat any more of this crap, and I'm going to go work out for an hour. How long is that going to last before you're like, man, I need to eat me a cheeseburger.
I'm hungry. I can't do this.
I'm hungry, man. I can't do this. But you don't know what you should be eating. So you just go and revert back to eating junk. But if you can train yourself on what to eat before you get to that point where you're like, I got to have some after you leave the gym, because you're going to need fuel. You're going to need fuel before and
start
after.
Cramping it up, your body going to start hurting.
Yeah, you're going, and you got to, you need to eat. That's the thing. People think that not eating
is the answer.
That's the opposite. You gotta eat. The fact that, like, if you're fasting, like, that's a whole other thing, man. Like, you gotta fast with intention. You know, don't just fast because it's a fad and because like it'll become
it's
a
trending
program
and everything.
Yeah, because you'll program yourself, and then before you know it, you're in a calorie deficit all the time, and like you're
wondering why I can't.
Why I can't bulk up, or why I can't get the physique, or why it's because, well, you're just not eating enough. Your body needs more nutrition. You're not giving it to it. So, you know, I'm a firm believer in setting a timer on your phone every 2 to 3 hours and making sure that you eat on a schedule. Starting with, you know, after I think what I wake up and I drink a 32-ounce jar of lime water. I feel like that's what I do first. Rehydrate my body with room temperature lime water that's been sitting out all night, and I'll drink it, and then like that activates everything. Like, I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. You know, like, and now I'm working out because I work out first thing in the morning. So like I'm working out. I'm going to the bathroom. The factory is firing up. The junk is leaving. Like, I'm clockwork.
Cleaned out.
Everything's cleaned out. Everything's ready to receive. It's like shipping and receiving, and that's why factories work the way they work. It's the way your body is designed to work. It's not rocket science.
No, people think it is, and I'm like, it's not.
No, it's not. But just like having good workers in your factory is like putting good fuel in your body. Like, if you put bad fuel in your body, that's like hiring a bunch of slackers to work in your Amazon plant. Like, ain't nothing gonna happen. It's gonna be a lot of clogged up stuff. It's gonna be a lot of
get on time.
People are gonna get hurt. There's gonna be incidentals and all this stuff. So you just have to really treat your body, you know, like a temple, like they say, in a biblical sense. If you need to look at it like that, please do. If not, then treat it like a factory. And, you know, pretend that your body is an Amazon plant. You need to keep shipping and receiving. That's what it's all about, because that's all survival is putting it in, putting it out, safe in, safe out. Don't let any disease caused by what I'm putting in and what I'm putting out. I don't know what else there is.
No. People make it a lot harder than it has to be, and it doesn't help when they're like, oh, yeah, well, this person said do this person said do that. I'm like, did you even try for yourself?
Did you try either one? Or are you just telling me what people said? Because I've never met, aside from my wife, I don't know anybody that eats like us. There may be vegans. There may be vegans that are gluten-free, but I have never met a vegan, gluten-free, oil-free.
No.
Still,
you got to find what works best for you.
Yeah, and that's what worked for me. And I'm trying to tell people that have gone vegan, and they're like, man, I still have. I'm like, but well, have you cut out gluten or oil? And they're like, no. And I'm like,
well,
try that. Yeah, because I ain't never stood
is.
just on being vegan. I said it myself. When I was just vegan, I ate junk and I got fat.
Right.
You know?
And that's what I tell people.
I was like, but when you, and the more discipline comes with that, that's like next level. That's like leveling up. Being vegan was one thing where you're like, man, I only eat this. I'm like, okay, well, it's not that bad. They got a lot of options. But when you're like, okay, now gluten-free, oil-free, you're like, dang, they want everything. So that's a level up of discipline. And then, like, it's not like you're going to go to jail for messing up.
No.
You're not.
No, you can
nobody's
going to
hold you accountable.
Off, but you.
Yeah, nobody but you. So I'm like, you know, there will be times, like, if I have to compromise my diet for whatever reason, and I'm not like a saint with like,
right. Nobody's perfect.
You ain't gonna see me starve.
No.
So, but like, I also carry food with me everywhere I go. Oh, well, I've got a smoothie. I've got my lime water. I've got a couple of my bars that are clean enough for me to eat. I may have a salad packed. You just never know. It depends on how far I'm going. I pack food and fly on a plane. So when I go through TSA, I have to ask them, like, hey, man, don't run this through the radiation, please. I got to eat this. You know, and then they'll open it up and they're like, what's this? I'm like, it's oatmeal. And they're like, well, is that a liquid? I'm like, I don't know. Drink it and tell me. You know, and like, well, peanut butter. I'm like, well, it's got peanut butter in it, but it's not just peanut butter. So, like, I got to deal with the wildest stuff, bro. I flew back some tofu and some tempeh from Colorado, and you would have thought they didn't care about nothing else I flew back with. Nothing. Had on my whole bag, nothing. I was like, they were like, we got to check your bag. I was like, oh, shoot.
Here we go.
Man, I was calling my homeboy that had already got through. I was like, hey, man, I might need you to get my lawyer or whatever. And they were like, what's this? And I was like, oh, that's tofu. And they were like, well, what about this? I said, that's tempeh. And he was like, oh, okay. Zipped it up and gave it to me. I was like, good, what? Give me my bag, bro.
Let me get him out of here now.
I'm out of here. So, yeah, I was like, man, so flying with food is tough. I get it, but there's no food at the airport. Nothing.
That's the thing. It shows right there the discipline you've gained and everything else. Like, if you're always prepared, you can't be lacking at that point. Like, there's no way you can mess up or fall off. But it's like you went through that extra time and put that time in to get stuff ready. Yeah. You knew you weren't going to be at home to be able to just, I can go grab this real quick or I can make this and everything because I got everything here. It's like, let me make all these things. Let me get everything prepared for this situation. And people's just like, this is why we meal prep. This is why you do all these things, people. I'm like, what day of the week do you have like a couple hours of time? Just make all the stuff then. And then here goes, I got to run everywhere Monday. And it's like, well, you got your food with you, so you're good. You're
good. But like you're willing to go sit at a drive-through how many times a week, but you ain't got time to meal prep. And you know, that's what with Smolicious, we try, like, even though it's a food trailer and we want you to come buy our food. Like we want you to experience it. I want you to, like, if you're like, I don't like that, but let me see what Smo's got. Come try it. I promise you'll like it. If you don't, then
potato soup.
Your palate has really been hijacked. So I want people to come and try the food, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to get you to have a relationship with your food again. That's why we give all of our recipes away. That's why we teach everything that we do, and it's all for free. We give everything away because quality of life shouldn't have a price on it. Fountain of Youth ought to be a fountain for everyone. So I want you to drink the knowledge. The Fountain of Youth ain't water. It's knowledge. And if you can't put the work in, you won't get the reward. Ain't no free sips out here. No. This ain't that kind of party. No. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to let you have a funnel. You got to soak this knowledge up, apply it to your life, and that's where you'll get the quality of life that I refer to as the Fountain of Youth. Because, like, I'm going to keep getting older, but it don't mean I'm going to keep feeling older. I may keep getting older, but I'm not going to allow myself to get sick based off of my choices. Now, if God's got a plan for me, I can't argue with that. That's part of his plan. But with the knowledge that's been made available to me and the opportunity to apply this knowledge to my life, second chance I've been given, I ain't playing games. I ain't got time for that. No, sir. So, you know, but having a relationship with your food is where it really takes place because, you know, this is the most intimate relationship that you have. And people don't realize that.
Every day.
Every day. You ain't going to go a day without eating. If you do, you're not going to be happy about it. You know, it was with intention or it was by super accident. So everybody, you're going to have to eat every day. Like, you might be married to the most beautiful, loving wife, but you may not have 3 intimate times with her a day.
Right. You might only see her. You might see her right before bed, and that's it.
Not like this. This is going inside of you, first of all. And you, not only do you need to depend on it to be inside of you, but then you have to depend on it to nourish your body, fuel your body, and sustain your life while you wait to do it again. And then wait to do it again. And then wait to do it again. So, like, this is the most intimate relationship that you're ever going to have throughout your entire life. Yet we're so quick to put the gloves on someone else's hands. It's like, this is like saying, man, I love my wife. She's great. I let homeboy take her out, you know. But, you know, she's my wife. I let him take her out and wine and dine, you know, whatever. But she's my gal. No, that's not how it works. No. So, like, the going and finding, you don't count on someone else to go find your soulmate. Go and finding the right ingredients. Pairing these ingredients with other ingredients. Finding the chemistry of these things. Getting your hands involved. Getting physical with them. Cleaning them. Caring for them. The fruits, the vegetables, your ingredients, your spices. Blending that together in a way to where it makes you feel a certain way. You're excited. I'm looking forward to this. You're skipping all of this. This is like
that whole process.
This is like never making out. This is like no first, second, third base. Like what? All it is is the slide. This is boring, you know. Like, and then that's what it's gonna be if you just keep going numb to it, man. You're gonna skip all the process. You gotta trust the process to get you to the home plate, man. You gotta. These steps, and you got to care. You got to do it with intention. You got to know that this is fuel for your body. Don't go off of like, well, this is the way my mama raised me or my grandmama. Like, maybe they didn't know
anything else.
Maybe
they didn't have the information.
They didn't know, and it's not their fault. They just didn't know. But guess who does?
We do. We
and
have the
guess
internet.
why? Because we telling you.
We giving you all of it.
I'm giving it to you. You can look at a picture of me when I was 400, look at a picture of me now and say what you want. But I guarantee you're going to be like, I want to feel like that guy. That guy looks like he feels good.
Exactly.
And that's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah. At the end of the day, most people just rather just be, oh, no, I heard this from so-and-so. But how do you feel? Do you feel good? You or not?
People sit on their phone and listen to other people talk about what other people talk about. But ain't doing
nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about it at the gym while you're spotting me. We can talk about it there.
Oh, yeah. We'll have a good time.
Yeah, we'll have a great time. But, like, let's be productive while we talk about it and not debunk you. Let's talk about it over a rack of weights. You know?
Oh, me, most definitely.
Yeah.
But man, shoot. Well, I'm gonna hop into like my last question and wrap it up. You know, it's the one I like to ask everybody. You know, at the time, what did you think was your biggest setback, but ended up being your biggest blessing?
Myself. I mean, I was my biggest setback my whole life for so many different reasons. Mostly for like listening to what others thought about me and believing that to be true. I think that set me back a lot. My parents, they loved me, but they never thought that I would amount to much. So I knew that I didn't have to be much, you know, and I should have aimed higher, younger. But with the opportunities that I was given and the blessings that I've had along the way, I can't deny that I just think that this was actually all part of God's plan. So, you know, just like that, I trust the process. But I think I did stand in my own way a lot. And I think that, you know, overcoming that today, it being my biggest blessing is like being aware, knowing my old self, knowing what that felt like, knowing how far I was capable of doing wrong. And the blessing is the me now knowing better. Yeah. If you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
If you don't, that's ignorance. And I ain't dumb. I'm not dumb.
They say ignorance
I
is
might
bliss,
be country, but I ain't dumb. No, not today.
Yeah, no, There's too many ways to know better nowadays. And
Yeah,
stuff
for
like
sure.
that.
And I mean, we all know in our heart, You know, we're pretty much born with the, you know, most of us. There are circumstances, but most of us are born with the in our heart what's good, bad, right, wrong. You know, like we learn it quick. If we weren't born with it, like we learn it really quick. Like you emotion will lead you to consequence. You do something that's wrong, you'll feel a way about it. So. You know, there's never a time where I ate a donut and I was like, I'm doing something good. Like, this is the right thing for my body.
That is never it, man.
No.
But yeah, you have the discernment.
Yeah.
And people a lot of times do chase what is wrong because they like that high, which and it'll catch you.
It'll get to you, man, and it's cool. Some people got the, hey, man, I'm gonna live until I don't. Got to die from something. Like, well, if you want it to be mac and cheese, we'll put that on your tombstone. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for having me out here, man.
Man.
It's a great time sitting down talking. You know, we can always do this again whenever and stuff like that.
Hope everybody enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, most definitely.
Drop a comment. Follow me on at the Real Big Smo on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on I don't even know if I have an X. I had a Twitter, but it got hijacked.
I'm about to delete mine. Just like we was talking about earlier, it's literally just all porn. That's literally all it is.
You know what I did? I don't run any of my socials. The only social media I run is my YouTube page, and that's because I'm uploading the videos, and like they do have where you can make posts, and I do it on there, but it doesn't feed you like these other sites do. So I stuck with YouTube as a way to communicate with the fans that know that's where I'm at. But my wife runs my socials. So when you do reach out, be respectful. Don't slide in my DMs.
You will regret that one.
Like that. Somebody did that last week, and I promise you, she is not kind on her response.
She might be nice, but hey, you play that game, you will find out real quick.
It ain't me that's answering those. You know, but she does come to me on the important, like we weed things out. We got to weed there's a lot of scams, man. Like, you know, if you don't know, let me tell you, when you do get us on social media, you're probably going to get like this auto response. It's like, hey, thanks for hitting us up. Email the team at wewantsmo@gmail.com. That goes directly to me. So it's like, but if you're a scam, you won't follow it up. If you're somebody that is just like truly drunk on 2 a.m. and they're like, I want to hit up Smo and you know, tell them to come to my kid's birthday party tomorrow. They'll get that and they'll be like, oh man, he sent it to. This ain't even him, you know, and it's like diverted. But if it's somebody that's like serious inquiry, they'll hit the email, and I'm like, yo, what's up? This Smo, you know. So like, got to jump through one hoop. But that's to weed out the junk. Like the junk is out there. So at the Real Big Smo and everything, go to therealbigsmo.com, smolicious.com. I think our Facebook is Smolicious Mobile Eats or Mobile Eatery. It's on there, man. You'll find it easy.
I'll definitely tag them below too.
Yeah. Check it out, man. We got all the info for free. Check out the music. Check out the videos. Like it's in an evolution phase right now. I'm not the old me, so when you go back and you listen to the old stuff, don't be like, oh, he was talking about drinking moonshine. I'm like, yeah, back in 2012,
it was a different time.
I was. So like, and you'll see, be like, that's not the same guy. It's like, well, yeah, it is. This is like 200 pounds lighter. So
changes
enjoy that. Enjoy that special effect that we did there for you.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for having this though. It was awesome.
Oh, I love it. I've enjoyed it. This is my new favorite thing to do. It's like literally just shining my light on other people and everything else. It's like, why not?
Why not?
Let's have a good time. Talk about it, the ups, the downs, whatever anybody wants to talk about, come through.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. But,
good stuff.
Well, with that being said, y'all like the video, leave a comment who y'all want to see next. And as always, God bless.
Right? But most of the time, people don't really realize that. A lot of people are going to sleep. A lot of people. There's a lot to sleep on, right? Maybe. It's about time we start giving people wake-up calls. So guess what? This one will be the first wake-up call. It'll be the first wake-up call. Very much if you've been sleeping, I'll make sure that you're